I got the flow. I'm about to pull up. It's wishful kindness. And I've been waiting so long. Now I gotta resurface. And everybody talks all the bread and we burn it. Cause I've been feeling cool time. I've been fucking cool time. Turn up.
Welcome to another episode of Mid-State Sports Corner. I am Brett with one T, obviously the better one that we have. And I am followed by
Brett with two T's.
Brett.
You're just lying to everyone at this point.
Garbage. Hey, I think this is a big episode, guys. Brett has two somewhat functioning hands now. He no longer has the hand condom. He has got this contraption on his couple fingers.
It's to help get my mobility back in these fingers because they were stagnant for 3.5 weeks.
There you go. Well, Perfect. Yeah, I'm super proud of you. But I'll tell you what, it's nice not have to, worry about, that big giant honking thing taking up half our view in the camera all the time. Anyways, so, we're going to start off with our usual banter. And, one thing I wanted to start with is we have beer league season obviously coming around, as we talked about before. I was personally invited to play on a C League team on Sundays, skating out.
Who?
Yes. So that goes to show you, Brad, that not only am I useful in net, I am also useful on the ice as well. Something that you cannot say.
Okay. Okay. What team offered you?
I am so bad skating out. I mean, I can't skate for shit.
What team offered you?
Condon and Sons, or Chad Condon. I don't know what their team. I think that's their team name is Condon and Sons.
Huh.
They're a C League.
Are you gonna do it?
I'll probably play a couple games and help out, but they're just short on players. That's really what it comes down to.
All right. Yeah.
But I don't know, if you guys seen me skate out, it would probably be one of the last times you'd ever want to. I did have a really awesome experience the last time I played on this team, the Scott's Barbershop team, skating out. We were up 3-1, empty net. I got the puck on a breakaway and I missed. Did not score. There was not anybody in front of me. There was not a goalie. I heard footsteps like a mug. Thought I was going to fall. Almost did fall. And missed the net. I did not actually, no, that's not true. I did not miss the net. I hit the post. But ice level.
That's still
didn't even get it off the ice.
That's not even a shot on goal.
Are you done?
I'm just giving you the facts here, bud.
So, I don't know if this is going to help this team or hurt this team, but I found it very intriguing nonetheless. And approaching mid-30s now, so I can't imagine there's going to be a ton more PTOs for me. So,
you sound very, very excited. So
I'll be excited the first couple shifts, and then I'm going to realize, this is awful. No wonder I stay in the crease. I'm not fit for this.
Then are you going to feel bad about talking shit to us all entire
Not
game?
one bit. I still will talk all the shit from the net. Because at the end of the day, I got to suffer the consequences when you guys screw off all the time or don't show up.
Well, that's why I'm building the roster I am.
Do you know that on average, I would say it's pretty fair to say that I probably get 30 shots a game for you guys?
Do you want me to start keeping stats? I said this a couple weeks ago. I can.
I told you yes. I said yes. Let's do it.
I totally can.
Let's do it. Point streak. Sign up for Point Streak.
Oh, God.
It's right there. And you can just log it every game. You think Arnie's good enough to keep up on shots? No. I don't either. I love Arnie to death, but no. I don't think he cares that much.
I am out for the first game, though.
Yeah, well,
because I still got one more follow-up with my hand to make sure.
What'd the team trainers say, Brett? What'd the team trainers say?
It's healing ahead of schedule.
Okay, good to know.
X-ray looks good.
Awesome.
And so I got to follow up on the 1st of October to make sure the fracture is fully healed.
Okay.
So I am out the first game.
So are they giving you a conditioning stint with the Griffins, or what's the plan?
Dude, I'm Team Mom. I make that decision.
No, you're not above the law. So,
well, I'm not above a doctor, no. But
so what's the rule?
It all depends on how everything looks on that doctor visit. So,
well, it's unfortunate you've had to be a lefty for a while. God forbid.
Happens.
Not sure how that works out. All right, so I guess, after, 5 minutes of screwing around about that, we should probably talk about what happened to our boys in Honolulu Blue this weekend.
The All Blues.
Man, I love them jersey
they
combinations.
They looked very good.
They did, and they looked good in Jersey, but they looked good on the field. That first half, specifically the first half, was really overall a fairly dominant half for us.
Mm-hmm.
Second half was a little different, but they played really, really well, and David Montgomery absolutely bulldozed everybody in overtime. Like, you could tell these guys were tired of tackling him. They literally got out of the way. I mean, what was he averaging, 5 or 6 yards a carry at that point?
He caught a second win somehow, some way, and he was just running like an animal.
He was a beast.
Well, you could tell the O-line did very well, too, opening up those
Best
holes
in
for
football.
him.
Yep.
But, yeah, so the overall atmosphere in Detroit on Sunday night was just absolutely unbelievable from everything that I've read. And even just seeing it on the TV, you could tell. It was crazy. It was almost as if they're playing the NFC Championship game in Detroit. That's like the vibes that... Well, it's because look at the season we got coming in. This is the first time that the Lions are actually projected to be something. And I don't even... in my lifetime.
Best team in my lifetime.
In my lifetime.
And not only that, but they didn't lose any pieces. They got better.
Yes.
And so I'm intrigued. I mean, the rookies, like Terry and Arnold, played a pretty good game. Had a couple missed tackles. He's a rookie, right? Playing his first game.
He got lined up with Nakua, too.
I was going to say, but he was not lined up against, wide receiver 3. I mean, he had Puka Nakua, not easy to tackle. He's like Golden Tate, St. Brown kind of shifty. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just hard to bring down. And he still was able to wrap him up a few times until he got hurt. Overall, looked really well. Rakestraw, I saw, made his way on special teams. Kirby Joseph patrolling the back end again. Looks great. I mean, obviously got another pick. I mean, this guy's a dog.
And DJ Reader's supposed to be playing this coming week.
I know, I was going to say, we didn't even have our defensive tackle. Lee McNeil was getting pressure. Hutch had like 9 pressures this week. I mean, Hutch was a freaking beast. I mean, early impression of game 1, Hutch looks like Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Maybe.
For sure.
But I read Lee McNeil had a better game statistically.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't. That's perfectly possible. The whole defensive line looked really sharp.
Yes.
Really did.
But hats off to Stafford. He played a hell of a game.
Did you catch what the commentator said at the end of that game?
I was in a setting that I couldn't really hear the commentators too well.
So what happened was is Stafford is going through, the handshakes and, great job, goes to Goff, goes up to Dan, all the things. The commentator says Stafford with another 300-plus yard day at Ford Field and again walks off as a loser. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a terrible...
That's a tough one.
Like, he's not wrong. Unfortunately, he's not wrong.
You got to put it that way.
But, did you have to smear him while he was down? I have a lot of respect for Stafford, regardless of what others think. I think he did a lot of good things for us. I still think he's a hell of a quarterback. And if something unbearable happened to Goff, and somehow we ended up with him back, I would not be upset, right?
No, can you imagine him in this system right now?
No, I can't, because he never got this, and that's what sucks. That's what sucks. But nevertheless, he's on the enemy team, and we beat the enemy. That was the objective. But yeah, hats to him. Hats off to him. What, he had 2 touchdowns, I think, a couple touchdown passes. Was it? Or was it 1 and a pick? Maybe
he was just slinging the ball all night, though.
Yeah, and he just looked sharp. I mean, he had a couple of throws where I have no idea how the hell he saw his receiver.
Well, that's just Stafford,
and he just absolutely slung it in there right between 2 defenders, and it was classic Stafford with that sidewinder. It looked good. It looked really good.
You made that mention of the second half was a little bit of a struggle.
Yep.
And shocker. Second half Stafford.
Yeah,
we saw it all those years in Detroit that even if the Lions were down coming out of halftime, damn well if Stafford's under center that he's going to do his damage to get them back in that game. And a lot of the times he did.
Yes, he did.
A lot of times he did. So Stafford's stat line, 34 for 49, 317 touchdown and an interception.
Yep.
Sacked twice. Goff, 18 for 28, 217, touchdown and interception.
His interception was ugly. That was
it was an ugly one. And that was, that almost was a killer, too, because that was late in that game.
Yeah, I mean, he, honestly, not one of Goff's best games.
No.
Now, I wouldn't say it's his worst game. He had some LA games that were bad. This was not his best game.
As a Lion.
Definitely probably one of his worst, 3 to 4 games as a Lion.
Mm-hmm.
what was most interesting, I think, of this whole situation that maybe didn't get talked about enough, Los Angeles was down like 3 or 4 of their starting tackles.
Yeah.
Right? They're down
And
like the 5th guy in line or some crazy stuff
I got to
like
give
that.
them credit. Those backups played a hell of a game.
They really did. And listen, Dan said it right. I don't know if you saw his post-game speech to the team. He said it perfectly. That team out there gave you everything you could handle.
Mm-hmm.
But we made one less mistake than they did or one more play than they did. And, and sometimes that's what it comes down to, right? Like, it's breaking that run for a first down late in the game. Or maybe it is an interception. Or maybe it is as we learned with the Ravens and Chiefs, like maybe it comes down to a toe inbounds or out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it comes down to one play, and the Lions just made more of them this weekend.
Yeah. So let's do a quick, who's your Lions MVP on the offensive side of the ball and defense side of the ball?
Jamison Williams is my offensive player.
Our breakout player
Thank
finally
God.
played a game that he was able to show off who he is.
Burned his defender.
5 receptions for 121 yards and that one long touchdown.
Welcome to the show, J-Mo.
Like, that's exactly what you want from wide receiver 2. So St. Brown didn't get a lot of looks, but
Didn't have to.
But that's because damn well that they were doubling him all night.
But last year they're going to St. Brown in that moment,
Yes.
right? And the teams know that. And so for you to be able to have a J-Mo that can take that pressure off of them, and then you still have Sam Laporta, who is arguably top 3, top 5 tight end in the league as a safety net,
and then
this team is loaded.
And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, who's a great
God, he's got some
running
burst.
back.
God.
But yeah, so Jameson Williams 5 receptions, 121 yards, but that's exactly what you want out of a wide receiver 2 when the opposing defense has a good game plan. Take your wide receiver 1 out of the game, which is what they did very well.
Yeah. Who's your
St. Brown?
Who's your defensive guy?
Anzalone.
Oh, you took my guy. Yeah, Anzalone was all over the place.
That
Wasn't he?
very first play, he
wrapped him up.
Just destroyed that guy behind the line. 13 tackles, 10 solo, 3 for a loss.
Well, and
what a game.
And I think, exactly. He played an awesome game. I will say the only thing I would say might be a little bit up there, right, to compare defensive player of the game, maybe a little quieter defensive play of the game, is Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes played an extremely solid linebacker game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, the stats show official stats show 4 total tackles, 3 solo, and really everything else across the board. No sacks, no tackle for loss. What I can tell you, though, is PFF had him in the top 3 on the Lions defense. Depending on who you ask, but he was in position, right? He made the tackle or was in a situation where he forced somebody back in, right, to where somebody else was able to wrap him up. And, when he came out of Purdue, he was a little raw, but you could tell that, the tools were there. And it's great to see. I got a chance to meet him not long ago, a couple weeks ago, and just told him to go out and get this team the Super Bowl this town and the state deserves. And I truly feel like he's playing that way. I told him, I said, this state is literally going to explode. If you guys win a Super Bowl, this state will literally explode. They may literally announce a statewide holiday and shut down all jobs.
Oh yeah, please do. Please do.
That would be fantastic. I am so down. They do that in other countries when they win the World Cup. God forbid this is right up there with the Lions winning the Super Bowl. You could have never told me this a couple years ago.
I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime.
Not a chance.
It's actually a possibility.
Yeah. So overall, but you could argue for anybody. The whole team played a really solid game.
Either way, great week 1 win. I mean, a tough opponent to come in on week 1. Obviously, given the Detroit and Stafford connection, and then you got the Sunday night primetime game, week 1. This was who you played in the wild card last playoffs, and pretty much had a very, very similar game as far as score goes, how the game all played out. Very, very similar.
Yep.
So the Rams beating the Rams, that's a very, very good win on your resume going forward, because Rams are definitely going to be in my opinion, will be a playoff team this year.
We're going to take a quick moment here to honor our sponsors of today's episode. So we're going to start with Crystal Fieldhouse over in Burton, Michigan. It is our home of Beer League Sundays. If you ever want to do a birthday party, you want to do some public skates, some stick and puck, join an adult hockey league, get into some youth hockey league, or do some figure skating, go see Crystal Fieldhouse in Burton, Michigan. We thank you to Michelle for sponsoring us this coming year, and look for our smiling faces on some banners on both rinks this year.
Thank you to FiberLink Communications in Lapeer, Chad, Debbie, Tina, Joel, and the rest of the crew. Thank you so much. M&M4 Properties, Marco and Marissa Mercino, thank you so much for all your support. DCC Construction, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And also Winged Helmet Media, thank you, Chris, for being a part of this, man, and we're really looking forward to doing some things with you in the future. So, thank you all.
Yeah, I think I think overall the Rams are probably going to win 9 or 10 games at least. At least.
As long as Nakua's not out long term, because he did get hurt in the game.
4 weeks minimum, but it's a PCL injury,
Okay.
which from personal experience on PCL, I think I really was kind of boogered up for like 5 to 6, and then I felt like I had strengthened it again. So I'm, as a pro athlete, he's going to be well ahead of that curve. I mean, beer league curve's a little bit different, not much. But a little bit.
He's in a little bit better shape.
I don't know. I feel like I could probably break a few tackles out there. That's it, though. I wouldn't be able to go out again. I'd be dead. But I think he 4 weeks is probably realistic for a pro athlete. But that's not a good injury, and that's something that if you don't wait the term, you'll re-injure it, you tear it, and you're out.
But overall, great win for the Lions. The atmosphere at Ford Field was unbelievable, even just seeing it on TV.
Yeah.
So, and damn well that's going to be the atmosphere at every game at Ford Field this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen Lion fans travel well, too.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So some of these out-of-town games, too, they better watch out, because Lions fans are going to come in there. They travel well, and they will take over your stadium like they did in Kansas City last year.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, is there a team in this league you don't think the Lions can hang with and or beat now?
Oh, no.
Not a chance.
Because you look at the group of like 5 at the top, which would obviously be Chiefs, Lions.
Yep.
Let's see, Baltimore would be up there, San Francisco, and really I think those are like the Blue Bloods or like that have Super Bowl chances here.
I predicted Lions and Ravens.
So, and yeah, I think it'd be a dogfight. All 4 of those teams, they go head to head.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, next week, Tampa Bay, another playoff rematch.
1 p.m. start.
1 p.m. start at Ford Field. Yep. Obviously, Buccaneers had a good week 1 win.
Yep.
So, but let's keep riding this momentum. Let's keep it going.
That's a home game.
It is a home game. So, obviously that's huge.
Yeah,
because Ford Field is nuts.
The Ford Field has gotten to be an absolute zoo for opposing players.
And I love it.
You heard, the whole McVay conversation about playing in the playoff atmosphere last year. He said it was the loudest stadium he's ever played in, or coached in or played it. And I believe it. Like this city, the state, ourselves included. You're going to see real tears on TV when they win the Super Bowl. Like, people are going to be so overjoyed with happiness.
I probably would.
There's going to be real tears. Like, I would have never expected this a couple of years ago. And here they are, not only doing well, but contending.
The overall, so pretty much everyone goes to like a Super Bowl party and such.
Oh, yeah.
If the Lions do make the Super Bowl,
yep.
I don't know how I would like really contain myself at a Super Bowl party with the Lions playing in the Super Bowl.
As long as you keep your clothes on, Brett, that's a good start.
Well, I don't have that issue, but still, it's just pull Frank the Tank from Old School. We're going streaking. Right. You don't know the movie, so it's fine. Okay. We already know this.
Yeah, okay. I hate you so much.
So let's jump over to just some more NFL talk. So week 1 has completed. It started up on Thursday night, the 5th, with a Chiefs-Ravens matchup. Great game.
Came down to the toe.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Do you see Mark Andrews getting pushed out as tight end 1 in Baltimore? Because here's Isaiah Likely.
Isaiah Likely's coming on strong. I think Mark Andrews, I think
He's
will
had so
hang
many
around.
injuries,
I think
man.
he'll hang around this year, and they're going to try to like figure this out one more year. I think he gets cut after this year.
They need to figure out how to utilize Derrick Henry in this offense.
Well, as we saw
He
week
didn't
one,
get
though.
utilized that much.
Yeah, and Lamar's not going to run 150 yards a game. Okay, if he does, you're going to have him for about 8 games, and then you're going to lose him. So you have to figure out how to run the ball without him, or at least use him as a decoy. You can throw some little guys here, but Derrick Henry is a 250, 260 pound, basically a linebacker that you need to give the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
He's proven that he can do it. He's been a very successful back in this league, and it is very dangerous for him to be lined up with a mobile quarterback like Lamar that can go out, do his scramble, and then just right to Derrick Henry,
Yep.
and you've now given it to an all-pro running back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's incredible. Then you got Likely, who doesn't look like tight end 2, looks like tight end 1. Mark Andrews, whatever version of him you get, right? The offensive line in Baltimore concerns me. It did not look good. They continually got flagged for that, legal formation penalty where the helmet's got to be lined up with the belt line.
I saw a
of the
lot
center.
of those penalties this week.
I think they got like 3 on the first drive.
Well, just in general, just watching games on Sunday, I saw that
Yeah, they
that
made
penalty
it a
a
point.
lot. Like, are they cracking down a little bit more on it this
They
year?
made it a point this year to enforce that, and it actually references the Kansas City Chiefs game, if you recall. Orlando Brown lining up what seemed like 30 yards behind the rest of the line and being able to plant, you know what I mean, and be able to fight off Bosa and all the other rushers that, they dealt with. And the league was looking to get rid of that because visually it looks awful, right? Like it's really not fair, quite frankly. I don't know that calling 3 on the first drive in the first game of the season is exactly what they were looking for. But I guess it sends a message to the rest of the league that they're serious.
So obviously, Chiefs walk away with that win. Really good game to start off the season. Then Friday in Brazil, a game that we don't understand why was in Brazil, and obviously, which is why you don't have football games on soccer fields. The turf's totally different. So poor Jordan Love had a pretty damn good game, but then gets hurt on the last play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, as an NFC
And he's out 5 weeks.
North counterparts, I think it'll work out okay for us. But I never like to see somebody like that go down.
Because he had a damn good game, and it was a damn good game.
Oh,
Eagles
that
walked
was.
away with a 1-possession victory, but so that was a really good game.
They are the Packers did not win.
No, Eagles.
Yeah.
My bad.
The Bears, how did the Bears lose with that awful performance that Caleb put out there? Like Caleb Williams being projected to be the next, coming of Jesus, right? Like, I think I told you this like 4 times now, right? Like, I'm not sold on Caleb Williams. Just because you could throw the ball in Lincoln Riley's offense, so could Kyler Murray. He hadn't done shit either. Baker Mayfield's been the one that has done pretty decent, you know what I mean, in general. But I'm not sold on him. And I'm not sold on a man that walks around with nail polish and look at me, look at me, look at me. It's all about me. And, the first text you send to your teammate when you get drafted is your punter and telling them, hey, you're not going to get to punt very much. And he punts like 16 times in the first game. Like, you get that. You get what you deserve. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact that they walked away with the victory, it's because they played Tennessee, and Tennessee is not good.
No,
that's the only reason.
they're terrible.
That's the only reason why they walked away. And Will Levis gave them that pick 6 late in the game, which is like, what are you doing?
Did you see some of the some of the facial reactions that Will Levis was giving to the camera in some of those? Like, you could tell he was just frustrated with what he's working with, and it's the same thing as we just talked about with Stafford. Like, he didn't have anybody to work with either at the time, and so I feel his pain. It was tough to watch.
So, as looking at the rest of the games here, the only like winner that surprised me, like all the other like games, like the winner is who I thought. Maybe the result wasn't what I thought, but the winner ended up being that. But the one game that I was not expecting was New England to go. I think they went into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals, which was surprising because Joe Burrow's back. Jamar Chase played. They didn't have T. Higgins, but they had their 2 top dogs, and they went in there and beat Cincinnati, which, Jamar Chase, come on, you're on my fantasy team, you're my wide receiver 1, you need to be better.
Well, if you want to win fantasy, you should ask me. I would have told you not to.
By the way, my team was the best in the league.
We'll see.
I got stats.
I guess that's a surprising game for me. 2 kudos I want to give out. Jim Harbaugh, welcome back to the NFL. You got your first victory, official victory.
See them fight?
Yeah, they'll beat the Raiders. But obviously, congrats to him.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to notate, it's been in regards to the Dallas and Cleveland game. Jerry Jones is a moron for paying Prescott $60 million a year.
Yes.
He set himself up to do this last year when he said something to the effect of, you have to pay those guys, whether they might get you there or not, because drafting a quarterback's not successful, and you know what I mean, and you don't know what you're going to get for agency and all these other things, basically stating like, I don't have a choice but to pay him. I'm not saying Prescott's not a decent quarterback. Like, he's going to, he can do some things. I don't think he's the guy that gets you over the hump.
He's not
and he's not $60 million worth.
Yeah, he's not the highest paid player ever.
No, God, no.
Caliber.
Good for Jerry Jones. You look like an ass. Good job. But I also want to say that Deshaun Watson is washed up. Deshaun Watson is not even close to the same player he used to be. And now, I don't know if you heard, he just had a new allegation against him.
Yeah, I did see that.
Same lawyer, Tony Busby, is representing this young lady as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in details for respect of both sides, but it's just a bad look. And Cleveland is on the hook for all that money. They're they're just not smart to give them all that guaranteed money and all those picks. I mean, did you see what that trade's turned into for the Texans? Like, they're not paying them. All the drama's gone. C.J. Stroud's worked out really well for them. They got Diggs out of this situation. They've got Nico Collins out of it. A couple of other players, like
Joe Mixon's there now too.
Like they've got a team. Yeah, the Texans are going to be dangerous. They really are.
They definitely did what they had to with what they got out of that trade.
Yeah,
they definitely flipped it into exactly how you should.
But it's always good to see Jerry Jones falter. I just want to make that very, very, very clear.
Yeah, I'm
not a Jerry Jones fan. I never will be a Jerry Jones fan. I have 2 guys at work that are massive Cowboys fans.
Why?
I don't know, but I give them crap all the time.
Or in Michigan. Why?
And one of them is from Virginia, where they didn't have a pro team.
Still, that's just.
And he said the very first time he watched a football game, the Cowboys were on, right? And what he said the whole reason I liked it is because at the time, they were a team that was doing like a motion offense, and they were the first one of their kind at the time. And he said all of this visuals on TV was really awesome, and I was excited, and I was playing youth football. We integrated it, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. The other guy has lived here his entire time and is just a Dallas Cowboys fan. And, and all I can tell him is Decker reported. That's all I can tell him. Decker reported.
Oh, boy. So we'll jump into some key games for week 2 in the NFL slate.
Yep.
Thursday night, Bills-Dolphins. Both came away with a victory in week 1. Tyreek Hill, just don't go speeding on the way of the game again. And,
oh, boy.
And then you'll be fine.
You did.
But he went in and had a good game. So, yeah, just don't.
Baltimore-Vegas.
Baltimore-Vegas, okay. And then Saints-Cowboys. That should be a good one. Obviously, you got Bucks-Lions.
Yep. Carolina and Chargers.
Packers-Colts.
San Francisco and Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers and Tennessee. God, I hope they lose that game again.
Niners-Vikings might be a little sneaky because the Vikings didn't look that bad the other day.
They'd look better with JJ.
Well, yes, but they definitely looked a lot better than I thought they would.
Facts. How about Denver-Pittsburgh? Who do you think's got that one? That's a game in Mile High.
And that's a mid-afternoon game.
Yep. I think I go Denver. Pittsburgh's good for doing a win and the loss, a win-loss. Mike Tomlin's always been average, right?
And the 500 season.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Just re-sign him to be average.
I would take the home bias right there.
Okay. How about the Sunday night game? Houston and the Bears. I think Houston's going to kill the Bears.
I hope they do.
I do, too. I can't wait to watch Williams falter again.
Because why do you think Chicago's in the spotlight?
Caleb Williams?
Yeah, and it's like they are not a good football team. Like, maybe they definitely do have the pieces to get better.
Yeah.
I just don't think Caleb Williams is the answer.
Well, I don't know that Justin Fields was either, but I can
No,
tell
he
you
definitely
this.
wasn't.
You give Justin Fields this year's team, I don't think he does any worse than he did before, obviously. I think
No.
he does okay, personally. I mean, again, I'm not a major Justin Fields fan. I really don't like him at Ohio State. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's at least a 2-score win for them, at least.
That's what I'd like to see.
I'd love to see it.
So, yeah, that's a week.
Monday night
Quick
game,
week 2 slate.
Philly
is
and
there-
Atlanta. Philly and Atlanta Monday night.
Oh yeah, Philly, Atlanta. I mean, Philly
At-
should take care
I
of
say it's in
business
Philly,
there.
So
Yeah, Philly should take care of business there.
Kirk Cousins did not look good this past weekend.
Are you surprised?
No.
He's getting. I mean,
Where's Penix?
yeah, I don't know. Still one of the craziest things I've ever seen happen at an NFL draft.
I know it.
But so that's the week 2 NFL slate. That's a little bit of a week 1 recap. Obviously, Lions 1-0. That's what we care about. We're gonna hopefully be 2-0 after this coming week against the Bucks coming to town. So we'll jump into let's go jump into a little bit of Tigers talk. Now they are officially, well, as we are recording, TV is on to our left, and they're up 11-0 in the 8th over the Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
So, good sign. Let's check these standings here. Let's see where they're at. They've brought themselves back into the wild card picture with about a month ago.
Unbelievable. You know, I would a same situation. Like, would you have expected that to be the case this year?
Yeah, honestly, going into the season, they definitely had a little bit of hype around them. I definitely thought they would be, because obviously Cleveland's is the top dog in the division. It's going to be tough to overtake them. But I definitely saw them being part of the wild card talk at least. And here we are. We are 3 games out of the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Officially 3 games, and obviously we are, I mean, unless something crazy happens, they are up 11-0 currently. So they'll obviously win that one. So that should take them to 2 games, I believe. 2 games back, or 2.5. I forget how that works out.
Well,
But they are 3 games back of the Twins.
Yep.
And then Baltimore and Kansas City both have a 5.5 and 2.5 game up on the Twins.
Well, and something else that you need to know here is that the Twins won 7 out of the 13 games this year. So they won the season series 7-6. So if the Tigers and Twins tie at the end of the year, the Twins get the tiebreaker. There is no game 163.
I did see that.
So they have to essentially, if they're back 3 games of the Twins, are essentially back 4. So that's something to note.
Yes.
Going forward, what they say, you have 18 games left, 2 series against Baltimore, 1 starting this weekend. So, you got to take 4 or 6 from Baltimore, right? Like you almost have to win almost every series here going forward.
Yeah.
And you got to hope the Twins lose, 2 series? The rest of the way?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It can be done. Like I will tell you, they're playing very loose and free. The Tigers are playing as good, honestly, as good as they have in a long time.
Well, Scooble is very much this has been a Cy Young year for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and obviously that helps a ton. And then this youth movement that's happened, the bats have come alive, which is obviously very, very helpful.
Meadows, Keith,
Veerling's
played really well.
Riley Green.
Even Torks played better.
Yes.
McKinstry's played solid utility man ball. The rotation, Scoobles led the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Montero, another 7-inning outing. Ty Madden came up from the minors. He's looked really sharp. So, I think it's about time. It's about time they let the kids play.
We're looking very much at a Red Wings playoff scenario here. Coming down the stretch.
Last week.
Coming
It's going
down
to be
the
epic.
stretch.
I love playoff baseball. It's to be
Playoff
totally
baseball,
frank with
baseball
you.
is pretty cool.
To be totally frank with you, I do not particularly enjoy regular season baseball. I follow it. I love our boys. Like I love all that. If I'm going to choose a game to watch, it's not going to be a middle of July baseball game. It's not. I would rather watch a rerun of Red Wings. Truthfully, and that's just a fact. It's nothing personal. But playoff baseball is a lot different.
Yeah,
Playoffs baseball has a way better feel.
It has like a Stanley Cup playoff atmosphere.
It
in a
sure
way.
does.
So, I would agree with you that the MLB playoffs is definitely up there as some exciting playoffs to watch, and I definitely do catch myself watching it.
Yeah.
When that time comes, like I'm like you, I don't really watch much of the regular season. I've been to a game this year, and then obviously I do put it on as background noise every once in a while,
right,
just to keep up with the scores and such. But Yeah, playoff baseball, definitely, it is a lot of fun to watch. So hopefully Lions can do what they can do and sneak their way in. They do have a series with Kansas City as well, so that's another wild card team. And they end the season with a series against the White Sox, which is very, very helpful because obviously we know who the White Sox are. So obviously, and they are trending in the right direction. They lost 2 of 3 to the Padres. But they won 2 of 3 against the A's. They won 2 of 3 against the Red Sox. Won 2 of 3 against the Angels. Swept the White Sox. So they are very much on a very good streak right now, and that's been their whole year. Good streak, bad streak. Good streak, bad streak. So
yeah, but you got to just have like the ebbs and flows are going to happen in a 162 game season, for God's sakes. However, I don't think it's unrealistic to expect this team to have more highs and lows this year. And again, like you get in the playoffs, and even if you don't do any damage, you got there. And now the whole mantra around the program changes.
Yeah. But like to my point earlier, I'm definitely seeing a very like Red Wings-esque finish to this season coming as far as this playoff race goes. Obviously, as we know, what the Red Wings went down to literally the last like 5 seconds of game 82.
It was epic.
So, and like you said, there's no game 163 like they used to in the past. Because do you remember they did
Twins.
have a game 163 against the Twins?
Yeah, and lost
in extras.
They lost.
Yes, they lost in extras. Yes, but so yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for them obviously, and they got a good thing going here. So I think this momentum will carry them this last month.
Smart on Scott Harris too to lock up Colt Keith for like 8 years, $100 million, whatever his deal was. Like he's a cornerstone, and he recognized that, and that deal was going to be a bargain in like 2 years.
He's definitely played his way into that contract this year because ever since he's come up, he's been playing very, very well. I
think Casey Mize is gone.
I mean,
I think like rotationally, they've got 2 or 3 pieces. They still need another guy. I think they need to go out and sign somebody personally. I really wish obviously hindsight's 2020, but like Jack Flaherty was a perfect addition for this team. A really good, had some experience, did some good things. And Chris Fetter is a extremely solid pitching coach. Did really good things at Michigan as well with that pitching staff. And, so it's interesting, that Casey Mize hasn't been able to figure out. Some of the others, like I'm surprised because if you're going to learn and do well, like that's the guy to learn from. And, I guess that aside, like, to have 3 guys you could probably rely on in the rotation's a really good start. You've now got 3 or 4 bats. If Torque can put a full season together, like it doesn't have to be super flashy, but again, that 260, 270, 280 is asking a lot, but like 20 bombs and like 80 RBIs, right? Like I'm good with that. And Riley Green almost made it through the season healthy. That was his number 1 goal of the season. He got to the last, month and a half here, something like that. So, but overall he played really solid. He needs to be a little less aggressive in the field, which takes away from his playing style. So, like, I understand the balance there. But yeah, I mean, and Hinch is pressing all the right buttons. Let's not forget that too. Hinch is pressing a lot of the right buttons for this team, and he's gotten a lot of flack, in the last few years. His team's not been good. But, you got to have players to push buttons with. And he hasn't had a lot of that. It's been a lot of that, like getting rid of old payroll, letting Miguel walk his career out, and again, one of the best players to ever play the game. So he deserved that. But, like, I'm so glad the youth movement is on.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what you got to do. Like, you draft these players for a reason, so because they are your future. So now it's time for them to start jumping in. And they very much have. And, like, where we're at, we are about 85% of the way through the season, and look where we're at. We're 3 games out of a playoff spot.
It's awesome.
So yeah, it's really cool to say. It's really cool to say that as a Tigers fan because it's been a rough Tigers go for since like 2016.
Right.
So, but I think
you're not going to hit me with trivia, are you?
No, I'll be nice.
God,
I'll be nice.
Anybody wants to hear that garbage?
I'll be nice.
If you do want to hear bad trivia, though, leave us a comment or something to let me know. I guess we can do that going forward, but like it is painstaking to listen to me do trivia. So unless you really want that, I think we're all set on that consistently. I did want to let you know too. We did pick up a couple extra sponsors. DCC Construction, as we mentioned, is in our They've joined the fold here recently. Winged Helmet, thank you a bunch, Chris, for what you've done recently for us in general. And also, Logo Fit has supplied a couple of donation baskets for us to raffle off. More details on that coming soon. So thank you again. You'll catch some of their gear out in Emden anyways. So, they're already at Michigan games. So it's the same quality gear that you've already seen at the games we're going to have and be able to auction off or raffle off, whatever you want to call it. So again, catch us out. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, guys. And I think I almost have Brett talked into giving away a TV. Almost. What do you think? You almost there yet?
It's just a tough setting to do one because.
Do you think that if you go to a football game and somebody says, Brett, you have won a 55-inch TV, and you're going to go, well, that's not the right setting. That's disappointing. Like, no, God dang it. You're going to put it in the car and you're going to take it home. That's what you're going to do.
Not a lot of people have cars down there, though.
Well, we are going to take a truck like we always do. So if we have to lug it home or deliver, then fine, within reason. Not delivering it to Ohio. I won't even take it to Ohio. So if you live in Ohio and you win it, not happening. You better come get it. Can't do it. But maybe Brett will drop it off to you somewhere else.
Yeah, there we go.
He doesn't got two hands to drive with now. He can now do the 10 and 2 rule safely. So that's what we're really most concerned with is others on the road. So now he's fully functional as a normal motorist
almost there
in the state of Michigan. So we're all good there. But otherwise, thanks again for joining us. I am Brett with 1 T.
Brett with 2 T's. Lions 1-0.
That's right. Michigan 1-1, but we'll bounce back. Red Wings coming soon.
Training camp starts next week.
Let's go Tigers.
And let's go Tigers, yeah.